So it's Zizek, and he's everyone's favorite philosopher at the moment, mine certainly. And he was speaking about a topic which is very close to my heart. It perfectly fits the contents of this channel. So basically, life is meaningless. There's a very short YouTube clip of him, which I'll link down below. Basically, he speaks about accepting life as it is, being meaningless. And he even goes a step further, and he says that if we take away all the meaningless activity, all the meaningless pleasures, etc., etc., then life becomes totally sterile. And basically that's a completely anti-religious statement, because all the religions are about being able to reduce things down. So basically go and live in a cave really simplistically and you'll be happier than with 1,000 million possessions. So you can see from that statement that what Slavoj is saying is actually in the contrary to a religious statement, or what basically all spirituality and religion is telling you. I think what Slavoj doesn't understand is the evolutionary aspect. So only because you believe that just because you have a set value which you are living and do not exceed that in any form, shape or way, so by not indulging in meaningless activity, doesn't mean you can't have a life. And that's the fundamental misunderstanding of most people who oppose religion instinctively. So they see religious people, they see how they live, and they see them as basically just hollow, dead shells. And that is actually true. That's absolutely true. But they just don't understand that they actually have a life which they are entitled to live and can live. Now, only because that life is in a certain framework, doesn't mean that they can't have a life. And the religious or spiritual part of it is that it's actually more satisfying because their life is actually eternal, because they are linked to something which is meaningful. So, I mean, let's take some of the pleasures which he speaks of, maybe. I mean, he doesn't specify, but let's just assume. So, I mean, let's say food, I mean, there's absolutely nothing about that you can't enjoy food, or you shouldn't enjoy food, or drink, or sex for that matter. And that is really an integral part of a meaningful life. And it's meaningful because it's existentially meaningful. And it's existentially meaningful because it's meaningful to humans. And it's meaningful to humans on a lasting existential level. So the idea that life is meaningless is utterly absurd. Now you may hear, people like Vivekananda, which is a great Indian mystic and teacher, or was a great Indian mystic and teacher, who also says that life is actually fundamentally meaningless. But then I really, then you have to ask yourself, well, what is spirituality about, and surely if you have any kind of idea about living a meaningful life, you have to understand that that is universally meaningful. So that is not only meaningful to you, but that is fundamentally on an existential level meaningful. So to say that life is meaningless is actually it's just simply false. If you understand that there is an underlying plot or an underlying meaning. So with that I mean things which are beneficial and meaningful and things which are not beneficial and meaningful. So if you agree to that statement, then life in itself has a meaning, and this is pretty fixed. I mean fixed in terms of you have like a bandwidth which you can vary on, but it still is what it is. So I fundamentally disagree with this idea that if we just eliminate everything, any activity that is meaningless, that life becomes like sterile and nothing at all. In absolute opposite. I mean total opposite. And really, I mean you'll if you run that course, you'll understand. I mean that you just simply cannot continue on with certain activity. I mean it's just physically impossible because your life becomes so meaningful. And meaningful in a way that connects with everything else. So this idea, you know, that life is meaningless is just really, or that you have to like make this detour, you know, to give life meaning. That's just wrong on fundamental basis. And yeah, I mean really, I mean you just have to. You don't have to be a philosopher to work this out. I mean, it's you can tell it's true from the fundamental fact that all world religions fundamentally teach the same thing. You know, they fundamentally teach the same thing. So just based on that, you can already tell, you know, that this is not the case. So I hope you can follow what I'm trying to say. Here, what I'm trying to put forward is that there is actually a fixed underlying meaning in certain activities, and they may seem sterile to you, but that's only because you don't understand them, and don't understand them in terms of you don't understand their significance. And this is again, as I said, one of the greatest misconceptions or how do you say, judgment about spiritual or religious people. And religious people only seem like empty hollow shells because they don't understand the significance of what they are actually living. So really, this is just clearly not the case. Clearly not the case. So yeah, that's that, and I hope you have a good time, and if you have any comments, put them down in the comments section. Thanks a lot for listening. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.